Welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view, from the Casablanca studio in Golden, Colorado. Hosted by Art Carlson. At 4'6", liberals fear him. and conservatives love him. He's definitely a giant among men. Now here's your host, Art Carlson.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Art's Place Conservative Talk. We've got a great show today. We're going to talk about Biden's bumbling, stumbling speech that he gave at the UN Assembly this week. And we're also going to talk about the debt ceiling. And another topic, we're going to talk about Fox News has boycotted Rudy Giuliani. He is no longer allowed to be on Fox News. So let's get the show going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a little history about this channel. This channel started 10 years ago on Blog Talk Radio. It was originally called Art's Place, and it was an internet radio show that I did. I did 3 hours every week, and I had all kinds of guests on. I had candidates for Senate, candidates for Congress. I had all the big wigs in the Republican Party on the show. And I did that for 2 or 3 years, and then I went on hiatus for a few years, and I brought this show back, I believe, in 2017, and it was originally, I simulcasted on Facebook and on YouTube, and then I think it was a couple years ago, I brought in Lloyd Mendenhall as a co-host, and that brings us to where we are now. So let's get the show underway. Let's bring on my illustrious co-host all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. It is Lloyd Mendenhall. Hello, Lloyd.
Hello, Art. How you doing, Art? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Hold that thought. We not only do I have Lloyd as a co-host, but we are the triumvirate of conservative talk. We're going to bring in our other co-hosts all the way from Syracuse, New York. Let's welcome Mike Roach.
Hi, guys.
Not that
Hey,
Mike
Mike.
Roach,
How you
30
doing?
Jobs, but the other one.
Oh, is there a Mike?
That's
Mike
Roach,
Rowe.
not Rowe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done some dirty jobs though, but
I bet you have.
Well, yeah.
and, good to see you guys, and we've got certainly a lot to talk about, as you said, Art, this week.
We sure
Hi,
do.
Lloyd. Hi, Lloyd. And
How you doing,
hello.
Mike?
I'm good. I'm good, pretty good today. Hope
Good.
you're well. And
Can't complain. I'm alive. I woke up.
that's
Yeah,
another
and he
day.
shaved it.
Another day.
Like,
Yeah,
Robert
I haven't shaved.
Frazier, hello, and Chris Wedgeworth, hello. Good.
yeah,
to see you.
Robert, Chris, and Uncle Extra Medium, aka Jim Beauchart.
Yep,
Oh, is that Jim Beauchart?
Yep,
that's Jim Beauchart.
Okay.
That's his alter ego.
alter
And,
ego.
Okay, I loved his clown joke this week.
Oh,
yeah.
Dead, you know what joke.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that-
Oh, so you are
Yeah.
one of the members. That's good.
He did it during the show.
No, he did a he did a
Oh,
full thing on
no.
the show too. Oh yeah.
Oh, he did. He did the dead hooker. Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I told that
Yeah.
joke this morning to somebody.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
It was classic. I mean,
Yeah.
Mr. Beauchart is really stepping up to the plate with his I think that's probably some of the funniest content on Ken Heron's show on Thursday night. I look forward to the weekly Beauchart just because of that, you know.
Be careful in that clown outfit in public parks, though. It might get you into trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he did that interview in was he in the clown outfit when he did the interview?
I
Yeah,
think
he
so.
was.
Oh yeah,
Wasn't
he
he?
did.
That's because that's where he told the joke at. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that
You're
was absolutely. He wants to know, how did the joke go over that you told today? How did
Oh,
it go over?
Ken Dono's face was red. He was like in
Yeah.
shock, and Jeff Sills
Well,
was like doing this, shaking
Mike,
his head.
Mike, when you
Going,
told it today, how'd it
"Oh,
go
how
over?
can I not unsee that?"
right.
He was. The cops picking me up would be good. Yeah, it would probably be
Yeah.
good for the video. Yeah. Now, when you told that joke today, Mike, how did it go over?
Oh, good.
Good. Yeah.
You got to know your audience, you know.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah. But
All
but
right,
I'm always
let's
down
get
for
this.
a nasty joke.
Yeah,
yeah, it was.
yeah. He gets away with it, but Ken won't tell my jokes, and they're nowhere near as racy as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's because you don't dress up as a clown. I mean, he gets by because
There
he
you
dresses.
go.
That's
There
why
you go.
ventriloquists get by with the crap they do, because
Yeah,
hey, it's
Right.
true.
It's not them.
you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been reading that book by Jeff Dunham, and people don't realize it, but he's I'm going to say, as a conservative, just reading his book,
Yeah.
because he was raised in Texas by a very conservative mother and father.
Oh
And
yeah.
he went to Baylor University, and he had to watch the material, because that's where he did a lot of his, in his college years. That's when he was really developing his characters,
Mm-hmm.
and he had to watch how he put some of that stuff, and because he and his best friend, they both. I mean, he went to I think it's called Sky Ranch, which is a Christian summer camp during every summer, and oh, it's only supposed to be for Ken. I'm shocked he used it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he only used it on.
Maybe he only did it
members.
on members.
No, I heard it.
No. Yeah, that's right, because he did play it on the regular show. I was.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I know. I know he did, because see, I watch it on my iPad, and I can't see the members content until I come in here
Right.
the next day, or when I'm coming in here getting ready for Greg's show. I'll watch the members content because I can only watch it on my PC.
Right.
Or
That's
on my
one reason
phone.
I'm not a member, is because
Yeah.
I'm like, I watch it most everything on the iPad, and here I'm
Yeah,
on
well,
the computer.
Right. And that's me too. But I think you can watch it on the phone too. I think it says you can do it on the phone.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why you could do it on the phone and not the iPad. That's just stupid.
Yeah,
there's more
weird.
people using tablets, than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I need a haircut.
Yeah, me too. Look how shaggy I am.
Yeah, but the difference is yours can look shaggy, and it's okay. You can you can sort of look like
yours
James
like
Tanner.
to go
Mine,
all over the place.
I look like Jim
Lyle
Beauchamp
Lovett
does when he.
hair.
Well, yeah, I look like Uncle Extra Medium when my hair gets, except for the hair color. Anyways, I digress.
All right, let's get the ball rolling. Let's talk about that UN speech. Man, I heard it on the radio on some of the conservative channels, and I'm like going, wait a minute, did they do some editing? And they said, no, this is the speech, and he was just stumbling and mumbling and getting the word. Oh, it was like, this guy, he's the leader of the free world, and he sounds like an old coot that's ready for his oatmeal or his pudding cup at the rest home.
Yeah.
Well,
he is.
Okay, that's it. He is an old coot ready for his oatmeal at the rest home. Yeah, it's like, he I actually, Judy and I were talking about that. You know, Judy's got speech problems because of her stroke, and she listened to that and she says, I think I could do better than that. And she says, and I have problems coming up with words every day. She says, he's struggling worse than I am, you know, which is, you know, that's saying a lot. And I said, this is the most powerful man in the free world, supposedly.
Right. You could argue that the most powerful man in the world right now is Xi Jinping, you know,
Yes.
in a sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not the free, you know, not in the entire world. Obviously, free world, we mean usually the U.S. president, but Biden isn't leading anything, unfortunately.
No.
And it's scary.
No. You know, speaking of Xi Jinping, there was something that came up, and we all watch drone channels, so we're all part of the drone community. And they're talking about all these new drones coming out, and, you know, the Autel is a puppet. Country is run by a group of, exactly. But, and that's from the word of the mouth of clowns. Yeah. Clowns. Chris Wedgeworth just put up. Yeah. But Xi Jinping just announced this last week, and the reason I was bringing up drones is because, you know, we've got the new DJI drones coming out. We got, you know, all this new Autel drones are supposed to be coming out, and all of this stuff. He just announced that he's cutting back on the free market, and he wants to go back to the time of Mao Zedong.
Oh.
Right.
And that's going to cut, you know, that's going to put, you know, basically he wants them to control all of the market over there, and they'll hold the rest of the world hostage because nobody makes their own chips anymore. They all do it over there. And when he starts, you know, he's really wanting to cut back the power of the entrepreneurs in China and go back to the days of Mao. And that little thing slipped through, and not too many people noticed it, but because I pay attention to stuff like that, because related to drones and chips and computers and phones and all of that, all the tech stuff, that's something that's going to decimate the tech world if he does that. You know, if he goes back to the time of Mao.
Well, what'll end up happening is the chip manufacturing will get diversified to where they'll be made elsewhere. Like Indonesia made a bunch of chips for Intel. If you ever notice CPUs, look at them. It says made in Malaysia or Indonesia.
Right.
So they'll just drive more markets to other places, which would be a good thing, because then
it is a good thing.
That would cut into their power. They wouldn't have a stranglehold on the purse strings of manufacturing.
But for that time period it takes to get all of that changed, I mean, that's going to be a couple of years of total chaos until they start doing that. And maybe it'll force the United States manufacturers to get up off their dead ass and start actually doing something instead of outsourcing it to places like that.
Right. Isn't Taiwan a big chip maker also?
Yeah, they're another one. Taiwan.
Yeah.
And China, you know, because of
Taiwan.
Yeah, you're right. China they want to take it back, and with Biden in control, you know, and I've got Filipino friends that are OFWs, that means overseas foreign workers. They're working in Taiwan, and I worry about them. Yeah.
Robert says Taiwan is making all the chips.
I know they're a big maker. They're a big
maker. Yeah. But it's not just, you know, maybe the chips, that's fine, but all of this stuff that's being made, like the DJI stuff, all the other components that are being made or developed in China, if he does that, that is going to throw this world into a bunch. And to be honest with you, I hope he does, because we need a wake-up call. We need to start doing our own thing and getting back to what we were good at, you know, instead of coming up with the ideas and then sending it to China for them to do. And it seems awful funny that the Chinese are coming up. they're technologically so far ahead of what we're doing now, and
Well, that's because
that
we
would,
leave our stuff like over in a desert in the Middle East.
yeah,
Oh, what's
exactly,
that place?
yeah,
Oh, Afghanistan. So they could reverse engineer all the stuff that we left.
Yeah. Well, you have to wonder with DJI, and we love DJI products, but we also know DJI serves, is able to do business at the pleasure of the
of the
communist
Chinese government. Yeah.
And
Mm.
but you have to wonder, going back 20, 30 years, say to the Clinton times, how much American technology was either sold to them or stolen that ended up giving DJI, making them the world leader in drones, etc. So
Yeah.
it's like a love-hate relationship for me.
Mhm.
I love their stuff, but I wish it was us making it.
Yeah.
Well, during the Clinton administration, they couldn't get a satellite into orbit. And it wasn't until Loral Space Projects Corporation gave them that technology so that they could get their satellites into Earth orbit. And that's how they were able to ramp up their missile projects and get their manned space flight going, because they were having a hell of a time trying to get their rockets up there. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the Confucius Institutes on our universities, and how many communist spies are actually enrolled in students at, Stanford and MIT and wherever else.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I like what Uncle Extra Medium says. The Clinton administration couldn't clean a blue dress.
Yeah.
So true.
Send it to a Chinese laundromat.
Yeah, there you go. They say, come again? No, mustard.
Yeah, and Brian says that the software or the gyroscope is the same info that they use to make their nukes more accurate. And this is I've been saying for a long time, we've got to start innovating again and start doing our own manufacturing. But we've got a problem here too. Unfortunately, the reason these companies have gone to places like China and Indonesia and Taiwan and Malaysia is because the labor is cheap. We've got unions that have helped set the pay rate, the pay scale here in the United States to such a ridiculous high. $15 an hour is what they're wanting to pay hamburger flippers.
Yep. Oh, it's more than that now.
Because it's like $17.99 or something.
17, 18 bucks with signing bonus. I'm like going, crap, I'm in a dental industry, and I'm like going, these goddamn hamburger flippers are making more than I am.
Right.
Well,
and I get so sick of hearing the argument that you can't feed a family on minimum wage. You're not supposed to feed a family on minimum wage. Those are entry-level jobs. But we all know why they're doing that, because that ups every other level into the union level. So we have greedy unions along with greedy corporate boardrooms, and that ends up sending it over to free Uyghur labor in concentration camps.
Yeah, well, that's what Brian just said. Slave labor is usually cheap. The other thing is, and this is something I've griped about since I've lived here in Muskogee, and that's been 40 years, going on 41 years. We have a paper manufacturer. It was originally Fort Howard, now it's part of the Georgia Pacific family, and they make toilet paper, they make napkins, they make and they use recycled pulp and all that stuff. But these guys get, because of the fact they didn't want union, they have paid union wages without having to deal with the union bull crap, because the union is pretty much dead in Oklahoma. One of my cousins was actually had a lot to do with that because he was doing construction, and he had his own construction company, general contractor, and he refused to hire any unions. And of course, he helped push the right to work law here in Oklahoma, and it broke the unions, which is what needed to be done. I'm sorry, my brother, he's been union all his life. I've worked with unions, but they can't tell me how to vote or any of that. But anyways, they're paying these guys, our law enforcement officers, for example, were getting at the time, I think they were getting like $13 an hour. This is, 10, 15 years ago, that was okay. But the guy, and this I know, this rate I know was 10 years ago. The guys out there making butt wipe paper were getting $28 an hour.
Wow.
To me, that was not right. That's, and I'm not a socialist. I don't, and the thing is there is some skilled, it is skilled labor. You got to learn how to use the machines, but they train you on everything. Anybody and everybody wanted to work out there, and they still do. But, union just protects the slackers, but we never get paid what we're worth if you're not union. Exactly. And that's, I think we've got to start waking up in our manufacturing and in our own mindset. We got to start saying, listen, $17 an hour to flip hamburgers, that's not right.
Yeah.
It's, my God, that's more than before I retired, that's more than I ever made an hourly wage. I've never made that kind of money. And Judy, she was managing a pizza place, and she was getting $1.10 an hour, and that was good wages back then, as a manager, and as an assistant manager, I was getting like $4.90 an hour at a convenience store, and it was a chain convenience store. It was they paid good benefits. They had great benefits, but it was still a convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just ridiculous.
Well, we had a couple, auto parts manufacturers here in Syracuse, and Carrier Air Conditioning Corporation has still got a part of their company here, but some of the auto places are gone because, and I knew a couple people that worked there, and they were making, whatever, $35 an hour or whatever. And they would literally, I've heard stories directly from them of people who would like find a corner and sleep for hours on end, and not a worry in the world about it, sleep on the job. They got the things done eventually, but the waste and the fat involved in it was just absolutely ridiculous. And then they cry the blues when it all gets moved out to Indiana or North Carolina or something like that, now it's totally gone out of New York State.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But China, you got to give Xi Jinping credit in one sense. In an evil way, he's looking out for his country, his interests. Now, his interests are evil, obviously, but where we're sitting here just daydreaming.
Right.
Yeah. And that's sad when you see a communist country and a former communist country where their leaders are leading, and here we are. Why would any other country want to follow our plan right now? Why would they want to be like us and emulate us? Yeah. Because we're not showing any leadership skills. We're not showing any loyalty to our allies. We're not. Why would they even want to have anything to do with us? I mean, if Biden's real I just saw something come up about China here. It popped up on my phone. Or like,
Squirrel.
but anyways, yeah. But why would they want to emulate us? Because we don't we don't have anything to show right now.
Mhm.
We have no leadership. We have no. We're so divided, and
Yep.
of course they, united we stand, divided we fall, and this is exactly what the socialists in the Democratic Party are wanting to do. They're wanting to divide this country to make it easier to take us over.
Right.
Mhm.
And we're
That's right.
broke. We're broke as a
We're
nation.
broke,
We're
yeah.
just totally broke.
Which leads into our next topic, the debt ceiling. Jim Boyd just sent me a video of some Republicans giving, an interview saying, hey, you can't blame us about the debt ceiling. The Democrats do not want to work with us. It's all on them. They actually said, hey, we could do this all our own. They don't want to, because if they did, they would have to put a dollar amount on it. And they don't want the public to see what that dollar amount is. Otherwise, a few of them are going to start screaming, saying, what the hell are you doing spending $3.5 trillion on crap and not fixing the infrastructure like
Right.
you said you were going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
We were supposed to fix the infrastructure under Obama's so-called stimulus, back when they put a few signs up or whatever,
Mhm.
and 10% of it went to infrastructure and the rest went to universities and payoffs for liberal crap.
Mhm. All their pet
Yeah.
projects and yeah.
Yeah.
And Biden is talking about this build back better.
Yeah, he
give
can't
me a
even come
break.
up with his own catchphrase. He had to bastardize one from Donald Trump. Make America great again, build back better. Yeah, come on. They'll. I don't know who his scriptwriters are, but he had. Is it him that is totally stupid, or is it his scriptwriters, or is it both?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
Because he's got to have in like Pataki or Pasaki or whatever her name is. She's got. I mean, does she really? Will she go in there and take inhale the cocaine or something in there that they serve back in the break room or something? I don't know. She can't honestly believe the crap that she's spewing at those press conferences.
Yep.
Not an intelligent person. Even, I mean, because they frustrate the hell out of me.
I think they know that they're lying. They're lying through their teeth and they know it. But they know right now with the media, the media is starting to get like, the media does what the media does. They're like sharks. They're going to bite you.
Right.
Like the scorpion, and even they want to, do their thing. And then they haven't been doing it. They've been giving them a free ride. And even the mainstream media is getting a little frustrated with Psaki and Biden taking no questions at all. And they don't seem to care. There's no regard. Like, we can do it. Just get out like a dictator.
Yeah. Yeah. And
but I don't think they care about the truth at all.
so apparently Canada got the same idiot back in office.
Yeah,
again.
they kept the same idiots that were running it last time, and Trudeau is still Prime Minister? Yeah.
Prime Minister? Yeah,
Yeah.
Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at California. They voted to keep.
They voted to keep
Newsom.
Yeah.
And
Well, Lloyd and I talked about it last week, and the problem there was we had two Republicans running, and all they did was split the vote, and that's how
split the vote.
Gavin Newsom survived his recall. If Larry Elders would just stayed out of the race, I think Caitlin would have won. I don't think Larry Elders would have won if Caitlin would have stepped out and said, "All right,
Yeah.
this is yours to screw up."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They did shoot
And
themselves in the foot.
And this is a problem that the Republicans have, or the conservatives have, is the only reason Biden's in office is because the party was still so split over Trump.
Yep.
There were still so many anti-Trumpers, and all I can say to all those anti-Trumpers is, "So how's it working for you now, folks?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We
Just
did
wanna
the
say hi
same
to
thing with
Jim.
Ross Perot. Yeah, Jim Boyd in there.
Hello, Jim. Jim
we
Boyd.
did.
No questions.
We did the same thing. That's how Clinton got into office, was because of Ross Perot.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. That's true. Ross Perot
We-
split the vote, and because otherwise, I think George H.W. Bush would have won re-election if it weren't for Ross Perot.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least it would have been very possible anyway. And
Yeah, that's right, Jim. Mm-hmm.
I just received my U.S. government printing press from China. Need money? Email me. Only $20 for now through. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I've done that. I've gone in, because my bank, they'll give me 50 in hundreds. When I go to the first of the month, I pull out I'm not letting the bank keep my money and loan it out to other people and earn interest when they're not
Yeah.
paying me interest.
Yeah, we
I
don't
just pull
want
my cash
anybody to
out.
get those mortgages. Yeah, thanks,
Well-
Mr. Potter.
Well, they get enough off of me in banking fees and stuff that they don't need to try and earn interest off a mortgage they loan based off of how much money I keep in the bank. And they're not paying me squat on interest, so I just
Right.
pull it out and stick it in a.
They're not
Yeah.
they're not paying squat and interest, but they aren't charging squat and interest right now either. I mean, to buy a
Yeah,
house,
well,
it's
true.
ridiculously low.
Oh yeah, under
And unfortunately,
3%.
that's going to burst at some point.
Yeah,
People with
you're
adjustable rate mortgages, they're going to have a huge wake up call when
Yeah,
that like
when that there's going to be a
2008.
bunch of people.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's going to be
Yep.
2008 all over again.
Mhm.
And I mean, and this is the problem when you don't teach history. You keep you keep repeating the same mistakes.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I've gone to the bank and they'll hand me out the hundreds. I did this one time. One of the tellers, I've told this story before, but I said, "You know how you can tell these are real hundreds?" She says, "Well, we have a machine." I said, "No, there's another way. It's surefire every time." Right in the back, right underneath that little seal back there, it says "Made in China." And she goes, "Really?" And she flipped it over and looked at it, and I go, "And you're a bank teller?" Well, the bank manager overheard the whole thing. And of course, this gal just turned red. She goes, "Oh my God." She says, "You are going back to some counterfeit classes so that you'll know not to fall for that one again." This is a bank teller. She, "Really?" Oh, yeah. It's just like, it was hilarious. I've done that, and people, they turn it over because they truly, sometimes they think, it makes them hesitate from it. Well, we're getting a lot of especially when we were borrowing the money from China at the time,
Mhm.
and
Wow, we're up to 10. Ooh, cool.
yeah,
That's
we got
cool.
a good crowd today.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, look how woke. I saw a commercial. It was today or yesterday. MasterCard and Amazon's been doing this now for a while. And with all deference to any race, but they're advertising now. We're special things for Black-owned businesses and stuff like that. But Amazon's been doing it, and now MasterCard, we're whatever for. Well, what about every other race? Out there,
Yeah.
it seems to me it should be illegal to pick a particular race and say we're going to, give them special help or whatever. It
Mhm.
should be equal across the board. I thought that was the Martin Luther King dream, and obviously that's gone. And it's right out in the open, right? Advertised right on TV in front of our faces.
It's not only that, but here in Colorado, our illustrious governor and our Democrat-controlled legislature they just made it to where contracts are only going to be given to minority-owned businesses.
Well, I'm like Elizabeth Warren. I got a little tiny bit of something in me somewhere. Neanderthal, I think it was. 23andMe said.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing. That's going to play in our favor in another 4 years or so, because we can start applying for those loans, because us fat old white guys are in the minority now, so we can start applying for those loans. And that would be the argument I would use.
Yeah.
Hey, the white race is a minority, and you said they're only giving to minorities. So, hey, I'm up here for my loan.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be challenged eventually.
Get away with it the way they do.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And it's terrible, because I remember the race riots in Denver. I remember when they brought in busing and desegregation, and and the thing was, it wasn't just the blacks and the whites that were fighting against each other. It was the blacks, the browns, and the whites. You know, we had because the Hispanics didn't want to be in with the blacks, and the blacks didn't want to be in with the Hispanics, and the whites didn't want to be in with none of them, and none of them want to be in with us. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just that, you know, and yet here we are, and you know, my great grandchildren will be living under segregation someday. You know, oh, they're already starting to live under. You're already starting to see it. You know, and
we're seeing it in college campuses where they're having blacks only dorms. I'm like, going, wait a minute, didn't we just have a thing 40, 50 years ago where we were trying to get rid of that? And it's like, we already have all black colleges. What is that? Howard University?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, those traditionally black colleges, they were started way back when for a reason, because they couldn't get in college and stuff like that. And so I don't so much have a problem with them existing as carrying double standards over, like, it was Arizona State. I saw a video the other day with some multicultural center, and there was a couple of white guys in there studying. Not to make this a whole racial thing, but because one of them had a Blue Lives Matter sticker on his computer, someone came in there and asked them to leave because they were making them feel uncomfortable. And they were like, well, I thought this was multicultural. Like, you don't count as a culture, you know, and just everyone else is, you know, is just, and, you know, getting away with it, you know, it's totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's, our society is,
Hey, Doc.
Society.
Doc Murdoch.
Oh, hey, Doc. I just saw they popped up. I'm watching the two chats because one is a little bit slower than the other. So,
yeah, I got them both too.
Yeah, but you know, our society has changed so much. You know, I have my great grandkids. I have grandkids and great grandkids that are multi racial. You know, I've got great grandbabies that are, you know, part black, part white. Matter of fact, they've got Native American. They've got I've got some grandchildren that are Hispanic. A bunch of those. I mean, when you got 21, 22 grandchildren, and then like 7, 8, or 9, I think I'm up to 10 great grandchildren now. I have to stop and count, but you know, and they're a mixed variety. But you know, there was never a problem. It was just, this was our family. This is the way the American society should be. And I'm a conservative. I'm a redneck. I'm fat, old, and grumpy. But my grandbabies are my grandbabies, period. And that's what Martin Luther King was talking about. These idiots that are out there now have no clue what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's
right. Being a conservative is completely compatible with not being a racist. You know?
Exactly.
It doesn't make you a racist at all. You know, in
because-
fact, conservatism would be really argue completely against racism of any form.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Being a I am the father of my country. Yeah, with as many. Yeah, like I said, I've lost count. I have to sit here and think now which kid has how many kids, and I got one son that's got 10 kids, ranging from like 26 down to 2.
Ooh,
Yeah,
prolific.
very prolific. I asked him. I said, "Well, didn't you get yourself?" He says, "Yeah, but it didn't work. Apparently, it doesn't
He's got
always
some
work."
swimmers that know how to get through that fish dam.
Yeah,
They're like
Yeah.
salmon, man.
Yeah.
They know how to get there.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah,
salmon.
yeah.
Yep.
I said, "Well, maybe you need to just cut back on that stuff, curtail that particular activity because you got too damn many kids now." Yeah. Judy says, "Why doesn't he ever come to see us?" I said, "He can't afford to. When he got 10, 11 kids,
Mhm.
you got to pay." I actually have to stop paying. He may have more than 10 kids now.
Wow.
God bless them.
Second oldest.
Listen,
Oh, I have some friends in high school that were good Catholics. That yeah, 16 brothers and sisters.
my former father-in-law, he was the next to the youngest, and he was the 21st kid.
Ooh.
Wow.
His father had 22 kids. His father was 75 when he was born and 77 when his younger brother was born.
Oh.
Wow.
And he had 3 wives. He wore out the first 2, and the last one outlived him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I thought
hey,
you were
we
going to say he
need
was
big
a Mormon.
families again. You know, that's part of our problem is we've got this, 2.5 children mentality. Marriage is later and later if ever. And
Yeah,
if ever,
broken homes, single mother homes,
single parent homes. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and also demographically we're stagnant. We need immigration, proper immigration, to keep our country working, because we're not replacing our own population right now.
Oh, that's good, Chris.
Yeah. Apparently not. Yeah, it's like
Chris, I was thinking about that when Lloyd was talking about his son. I'm like, maybe
it's like, good God,
maybe you ought to, that or the back door,
Yeah, I know, right? It's just like,
you're supposed
I
to
asked him,
finish with dessert.
yeah. Yeah, I was like,
well, you know how you get an Amish girl pregnant? 2 Mennonite.
And here we go. The show is officially
Deteriorated.
There you go.
Yeah.
Uncle Extra Medium, you could tell that one on Ken's show.
All time interbreeding. We're Biden Joe.
Speaking of Biden Joe, you guys were talking about the UN speech. I only saw excerpts of it, and I hear it was like fire and brimstone with him stumbling around for most of it. But then all of a sudden, when he got into corruption, he was like, "And we're gonna stop corruption," and stuff like. Because he's one of the most corrupt guys that there is. Him and his son Hunter, with what it looks like they have done with the Russians and the Ukrainians and with China, would make the mob look like choir boys.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the fake outrage by these news medias now, like, oh my God, do you hear what Hunter Biden has done? The tape show it.
They're the ones that buried this. That tried to
They're
keep
the ones that buried it. Before the election.
Before the election.
Right.
Yeah. And now they're doing this whole fake outrage crap. It's just like, but this is how all of these this is how these communist countries or these dictatorial countries. Well, that's a hard word to say. I'm glad
that's how
it wasn't.
Not
I'm glad it wasn't
dictation,
a dummy.
dictatorial.
Yeah, dictatorial. Yeah, I'm glad the
that's what
dummy
she
wasn't
said.
trying to say it. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, this is how these coups happen. They take the press first. You know, the media. That's because if you control the message, you control the country into conversation. And that you look at history, and that's why they don't want to teach history, because they don't. I mean, I wonder how much history is being taught in Cuba. You know.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
They probably don't know about the Spanish-American War, the freedom from the Spanish.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because we were kind of hands off with Cuba, and that's how their government got so corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were a territory up until what, the 50s.
50s, yeah.
Same with the Philippines. Did you know the Philippines were a territory of the United States?
Yeah.
Up until after World War II, we gave them their independence.
Independence, yeah. Because we you know, all of those that were involved under the control of Spain, you know, they either once the Spanish-American War was over, you know, they either became territories or they were given their freedom, and usually they were a territory first and freedom next. You know,
right? Not only do they control the message now with control of most of the media, and even Fox is flipping to the left right now, and but also for the last 30 years they've also controlled the language, like redefinition of terms and things like that. You know, and you can define the words, not only the messenger. You can't win an argument where someone else defines the terms at all. You got no chance.
Yeah. We got a military that the military that is giving away vast amounts of weaponry to our enemy, while they're sitting around trying to decide what white rage is and you know, how they're going to refer. I mean, we can't even refer to the FAA has gone to the point where it's no longer a manned aircraft or unmanned aircraft. It's piloted or unpiloted. Again, you know, men are bad. Everybody else is good. So you can identify as a whatever, but you're frowned upon for identifying as a male or a man. You know, it's just like,
once I saw the FAA go into that territory, and talk about it as if they were accomplishing something. It's really
like it was
great work. It's hard to look at anything they do now and take it seriously. Obviously, we got to obey their rules as drone people and stuff.
Of course,
but you know, it's hard to look at them and have any respect for them as people or as bureaucrats. None whatsoever.
Yeah, and he's right. A good channel to watch or a station is Sky News Australia. You want to hear the truth. Listen to those guys. Now, I did hear that part of the Murdoch group, which I thought was Sky News, that they were going to start going with this. They were going to, you know, hug the trees now. They were going to start going with the I read that. I talked to Greg about it. He says, what climate change? Yeah, they were following the climate change agenda, but from what I know of their broadcasters, they'll just go somewhere else. You know, they'll or you know.
Oh, and speaking of climate change, that was another thing that Biden mentioned in his speech. You know, our existential threat is climate change. You mean
that's nothing but
I don't know, rain or snow? You know.
Yeah.
Well, the whole like climate change thing. We're looking at 100 or 400 years of climate activity, and trying to use it as a political tool when that even 500-600 years is such a short window of time in terms of geological, time, weather patterns, ice ages. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Supposedly the polar ice caps were melting on Mars as well. And, so it wasn't a Ford escape that was causing that,
Yeah, exactly. And
you're right, Jim.
Climate change has cycles, and
Right.
it's just that's the case.
Just like women.
That's
Can't
why they
help
call her
themselves.
Mother Nature.
Right.
But
it's true.
That's why they call her Mother Nature. Yeah.
But it goes in 10 and 50,000 year cycles, not in what they're using for political stuff, but people are, look, now everything is minute to minute. The attention spans are so bad. So people have bought into it. They'll say the storms in Texas last year, the winter storms or whatever, climate change. Well, no, it's happened before in history.
Yep.
Well, yeah,
we had that one summer of winter. That was early in the 19th century.
Yeah.
Back when this country was, pretty new back then. They had a summer of, there was no summer. It was just, cold that year.
They were making
it started warming up again.
Yeah,
I bet you we'll find out that it was probably either solar flare activity or sunspot activity.
Right.
Well, the thing is they've made all these movies about the new ice age or the new, the how the world has changed, and it's gotten to the point that they're trying to make science fiction into science reality, and they're trying to explain it, and their explanation is about as good as those that are given in
Robert Glazer, or you're right on target.
Volcanoes throw the climate off.
Did you see that one video where the lava flowing into that swimming pool over there in Spain? That was cool
I saw
to see.
that. Yeah,
watching that water just go.
That's a hot
that's chlorinated water. That's bad for the atmosphere.
Exactly. Well, here's the other thing. Remember how crazy things got after Mount St. Helen blew? I mean, that ash was everywhere. I mean, it even here, in Oklahoma and Arizona. I mean, there were places that you could see the results of what it did. And our weather was squirrely for a while. I mean, we had some real squirrely weather there for, in the early 80s here in Oklahoma. But I've seen, Oklahoma, we're right on that belt between, well, that's why we get so much ice, but we're right on the belt between snow and rain, and we usually get the ice. But I've seen it in March, I've seen it, our latest snows usually come about the first week of March. Our biggest snows. We're going to have record-setting snows, and it was in the 90s. We had, just probably about, in 2007, we had a huge ice storm at the first of the year, and then at the end of the year,
that's when we had the big snowstorm here in Denver, Aurora, where I lived at the time. 41 inches of snow.
Yeah. But I remember snows like that when I was a kid in Denver. I remember those huge snows, and then they kind of dwindled off. We quit having, and it started getting warmer and warmer. And they said it was because of the smog and this and that, And then after I've left, grown up, gotten old, and had grandkids, you guys start getting ridiculous snows again. It's like this is just the way it is, and they're trying to use this because we don't teach history, we don't teach real science, we teach pseudoscience or science fiction. It's like Isaac Asimov is our science instructor now.
Yep. Hey, you guys remember the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea movie with Walter Pigeon?
Yeah. Yes.
What were they talking? That was the Van Allen belt. They said it was
right.
We caused the Van Allen belt to go away. And how did we fix that? we launched a nuke in space to re-energize. Yeah, and everybody's like, no, we can't do that. Oh, we don't know what might happen.
Yeah. It's just
a lot of it is Hollywood too. Like
exactly.
You mentioned, Lloyd, and look who owns a lot of Hollywood nowadays and is buying more and more of it. Communist China. They are buying American companies left and right, and Hollywood is bending over forwards more and more for Communist China to please them. You know, the last Top Gun movie, I guess they removed the Taiwanese flag off of Tom Cruise's jacket or something from the movie for the Chinese audience, I suppose. So they literally will edit their movies for consumption in China because it's a huge market. So, but they're just sellouts.
They actually had changed the jacket completely. That he wore from Top Gun 1 to his father. It was his father's jacket, I think, and they actually made him. They put nondescript flags on the back of that leather jacket,
right? So
as not to offend the Chinese.
Right.
Boy,
I didn't watch it. I can't take time.
Well, I didn't either. I've watched a little bit of Tom Cruise, and I can take him, but it's like, it just. Anyways, So, wow, we didn't even touch on the ban on Fox News with.
Well, let's close
Rudy.
out with that, and then we'll. Yeah. So, Fox News is banning Rudy Giuliani because of the Dominion lawsuit against Rudy Giuliani and Mike Lindell and the other people for $1 billion. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can't. My fingers are fucked up.
That's
yeah, Mike knows about it.
That's all I can do.
Well, I can't do it so much. See, I'm lucky. When my hand got paralyzed, and the atrophy stayed in my fingers, right? These two fingers especially. Mm-hmm. But that's perfect for recording a guitar. It means I don't have to bend it's not. They literally
that's not
froze
what your
in
wife
that.
said.
Yeah, well, anyways, bad finger. God, we've gone down. We've gone to the toilet.
It feels like someone else is doing.
Well, Fox News is they're
going left. Yeah,
even before the election and all this stuff, especially right after the election. Once it was the call was made, even by Fox News quite early, they seemed to switch immediately into starting to cut off because Trump was still president until the 20th, and I remember they cut off press conferences and stuff midstream when all of a sudden they didn't like what was being said by the press secretary Kayleigh McEnany there. Because they didn't agree with the narrative, and all of a sudden they went woke, and they seem to want to play both sides of the road right now. We're conservative, go with the prevailing winds. We'll get our audience back, and there's Newsmax lying in wait, saying we'll gladly take Fox's audience.
Well, and they're doing, and here's the thing. The night before the 20th anniversary of 9/11, they contacted Rudy Giuliani. The heads of Fox News called them and says, "You will no longer be you are banned from Fox News. You and your son, and I can't remember who else. You will no longer be on Fox News because of the Dominion lawsuit. You're part of that. We don't want to be associated with you. We're trying to distance ourselves from that." That's the excuse they gave. Well, Newsmax is also being sued by Dominion, but they said they welcome Rudy anytime.
Right.
And for them to do it on the anniversary, who was the guy that was out front during the first day of 9/11? Who was the man who was really helping keep getting New Yorkers to do their job? And, he had the command center because they practiced for this since back he helped set it up from back when the first attack on the World Trade Center. They knew then they were going to have some. They weren't prepared for what happened, but they had the framework on how to set up the command center. So when it happened, they had just gone down to a restaurant for breakfast and and it was supposed to have been a light day because it was, I think an election day for something or another. They were having elections, and so they were going to wait until about 4:00 and start doing the roll-ins. And if you want to see that, you can find that on Newsmax, where they interview him and talk about it. Because it wasn't on Fox News, because the night before the 20th anniversary, Fox News called Giuliani and said, you won't be allowed to do it. And so they had, excuse the language, but they had piss poor coverage for 9/11 because they didn't have the man who was at the forefront and doing a lot of the groundwork long before our government had even figured out what the hell was going on,
Right.
And
the
reason they're doing this,
they weren't prepared for the magnitude. But Rudy kept his head. He kept his head.
Yes, he did. He did. And the reason they're doing this is because they're really trying to limit the influence that Rudy and Donald Trump have on the Republican. They're trying to move the influence that they have on the Republican Party. They're trying to downplay it. But Donald Trump is going out having rallies, and Newsmax is covering it now instead of Fox News.
Right.
And I've been telling everybody I know, go to Newsmax, drop Fox News. And I'm fixing to write Sean Hannity and say, as long as you're on Fox News, I will not be turning on your show. Not that I make it, but I think if everybody did that, he might finally get the cojones to leave Fox News and go, because Newsmax has a lineup of great people on there. And no, they don't sponsor my show or Art's show, but be nice if they did. Bam, we'd have good shows, Art.
Yeah.
We could just get Newsmax to sponsor us, man.
Well, I like to get the candy guy to sponsor us.
Do what? Oh, you got him to sponsor?
Chocolate?
Oh, Armstrong?
Yeah.
It'd be great if I get Artco and this channel.
Yeah.
Well, Fox is shooting themselves in the foot because I like some of their shows. There's a few I like on Fox Business. I like Tucker Carlson, but I pick and choose now. And
what about Greg Gutfeld?
Gutfeld, he is pretty good at nighttime.
I like Gutfeld.
Well, he's number one now, and
he's number one on
late night.
Late night.
Funny.
I think that's and that's what he is. I mean, he's a comedian, but he's also he's intelligent with his comedy,
Right.
And one last thing, if you guys didn't see it, did you see where Ahmed thanked President Biden? I mean, interviewed President Biden?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look, Jeff Dunham put it on this week. It's where Ahmed interviews President Biden for the presence he left in Afghanistan.
Right.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check. I think I've seen that in my feed, and
you need to check it out because it is just. And that's where I say I think Jeff Dunham is a conservative at heart because that was his upbringing, and he says in his book, which I'm currently reading, that's a good book to get too. Me and myself.
I've got
and I know his manager, Judy and Steve Marmel, and they're flaming liberals. I'm surprised. Well, as long as he's making them gazillions of dollars, they're okay with it.
Yeah. But I mean, he, like he says, and this is comedy. You poke fun at everybody, but you have to do it in a way that's, that's, equally. But he's really, Biden's lunacy right now, his madness of King George and madness of King Joe right now.
Right.
Will they be making a movie about this in 200 years?
The stuff they're going to have to say in 200.
Biden.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. I know. We
Well,
do not
guys,
have
we
enough
did
time.
over an hour, and I want to thank you. Great show. We had ton of people. We were up to 12. I think that's a record for this show.
That's
So
cool.
I want to thank all the folks in the chat for coming. Go tell your friends. Let's build this up. Let's get this up over 20 or more people. I'm at 179 subscribers. Let's get that past 180. Let's
I
get
might
this
have to
going. And
subscribe to Uncle Extra Medium's channel to check that
okay,
out.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
I don't
have to
know.
do that too.
I don't know if I want to
Yes.
look in there, but I'm going to.
Yeah. Goodbye, Chris. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, take care, everybody. Hey, God bless you guys in the chat. Let's go around the circle. Mike, any last words?
Well, I just say that we're starting to we got another essentially a year for the next election, a little over a year, and things are going to start to heat up. I hope that we're able to at least get part of our government back, the Congress, House, and the Senate. But unfortunately, we've got a whole nother year of the left having free reign and of the rulemaking and the spending, and it's going to get scary. And so it's pretty scary times, but at the same time, we have to laugh along with it.
Yeah.
Hey, Lloyd.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say what I always say: be kind, treat each other better than you would treat yourselves. Remember, everybody matters, even fat old white guys like us. God bless, God help the USA, because we need it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Catch you next time, and have a great Sunday. See ya and take care. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.